The unprecedented case against former President Trump will have wide-ranging implications. A Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Trump for his role in paying hush money to a former porn star, Stormy Daniels. It will forever mark him as the nation's first former president to face criminal charges. Joining me on the morning show, Curtis Fallgatter, a former federal prosecutor and also a man recognized as one of the best criminal defense attorneys in the nation, so he can talk about both sides of this case. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. Good to see
So,
you.
word is that he will surrender to the DA's office come Tuesday. Let's talk about the process here. Likely that the DA's office will talk to Trump's attorneys and negotiate that surrender?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, so that's the professional way to handle it. They'll make those arrangements. It sounds like it's already been made, a Tuesday surrender. They won't require any kind of bond. It's a white-collar case, so they'll let him turn himself in, and the process of the case itself will then proceed.
So word is that the last thing Mr. Trump wants is a mugshot. Will he be treated like anybody else, or will there be a mugshot? Will he be fingerprinted and then have to go appear before a judge?
That's standard. When you appear as a defendant, they have to identify you. The court records have to show that. So mugshots, fingerprints, maybe even DNA. The unique thing here is I'll guess that some Secret Service agents are going to be at his side throughout that process.
That would be the one thing that would be different.
I think so, yes, sir.
Let's talk about the case itself. It surrounds hush money payments and false records created by Trump's company. Legal analysts say that a conviction is not a sure thing because an attempt to combine a charge relating to the false records with an election violation relating to the payment to Daniels would be based on a legal theory that has yet to be evaluated by judges. Your take?
Bruce, I've heard that. I was a federal prosecutor 17 years. I prosecuted a lot of false statement and perjury cases. I always found them to be rather simple. Once you get past materiality, which of course is material, there's only two elements left. One is, was it false? Nobody disputes that it wasn't legal fees. I don't think that's going to be an issue. What's left is, did Mr. Trump know it was false? And this is not a payment to an attorney for some rezoning. This is a payment for hush money. That's a unique and shocking topic. It's not the kind of thing you're going to forget. Now, and don't forget this, that the DA has had years to investigate with a lot of folks going in a grand jury with sworn testimony. So theoretically, he would have a large pool of evidence to try to prove all of those elements.
Does the fact that it's tied to campaign funds complicate the matter?
It might, but I would think a typical jury would say, if you are hiding a campaign contribution by paying off a porn star, that's a campaign violation. It seems inherent to me that that would be considered a violation. So again, I don't see that as a very high hurdle to prove that that's violating campaign laws.
Let me talk about some comments by Mr. Trump and the DA, Alvin Bragg. He may find himself, Mr. Bragg, in an untenable situation at the hands of not only Mr. Trump, but also Trump supporters. And I say this because Trump posted yesterday calling Mr. Bragg human scum and a degenerate psychopath. They're direct quotes. Wednesday, Trump called him an animal. Now, Mr. Bragg is black, and that is racist, inciting language. Trump also goes on to warn of potential, quote, death and destruction in bringing such a false charge, saying it could be catastrophe for our country. Did Trump find his match in Alvin Bragg?
Sure, those are terrible things to say about a prosecutor. You can disagree, but all those insults are inappropriate. And Mr. Bragg is a Harvard grad, so he's a very intelligent fellow. And don't forget, this is in a district that has some of the best prosecutors in the country. So it's not just him. He's got a whole team of talented prosecutors that have helped put this case together. So they've got a very effective prosecution team.
I've mentioned that you're an effective defense attorney. Mr. Trump is known to say whatever's on his mind.
Right.
If you were to counsel him, would you say, now there's a criminal indictment, it's time to stop and maybe perhaps not say anything, or at least think before you speak?
He's running for president. He's going to say whatever he wants to say. There's no advice from a lawyer that tells him to not talk about the case that'll stop him, because he's got a separate audience, which is voters out there. So that advice would fall on deaf ears with the president, I'm sure.
So when it comes to Mr. Trump, he is what he is.
Exactly.
Curtis Fallgatter, time will certainly tell. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for your perspective on what is still to unfold, certainly as history. Appreciate it.